Elijah is pure joy.
He's goofy. He loves attention.
He is a huge flirt, gets that from his dad.
He giggles out of control sometimes.
He just knows that he is loved and he is cared for.
He has other ways of communicating and showing emotion.
He knows no malice. He doesn't know what it's like to be judged.
He doesn't know hate. He does know pain.
Elijah is God's gift. He's perfect just the way that he is.
They say that there's somebody out there for everyone. And Tim and Amber are definitely two people that were meant to be together.
Tim, he is the husband that I prayed for.
She is a lot of everything that I'm not.
He's an amazing provider. He takes his name and his word as his solemn oath.
I was raised that that's all a man has is his integrity.
He is not an emotional person. He warned me very early on in our relationship. Strictly, raised on rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine, pick yourself up. He's the most truthful person I know, sometimes even when I don't want to hear it.
She can talk to anyone about anything, and I'm not that way.
He has always made me laugh. That was one of my first attractions to him.
We both met at the lake.
I had moved to Georgia. I was missing home and missing the water.
She came out on the lake with the mutual friend.
We went out on this boat and Tim was on it.
We'd go out there on the weekends and hang out and party.
I thought he was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen.
Kind of flirted with each other.
The next day, I had asked questions about him and what his story was.
Embarrassed myself that day. It didn't seem to shake Amber too much.
One of my main things was, before I would agree to go to dinner with him, I needed to know that he was saved.
Church has always been an important part of my life. That was a deal breaker for me.
After a couple weeks, I let him have my phone number.
We had to be aligned on how we looked at God, how important it was to raise a family that way.
We would talk for hours almost every night.
I finally got to go out on a date with her. And
I was not looking for any kind of a casual relationship.
I knew that I wanted to be with her.
Longest we have been apart since then has been 5 days, and we are in our 16th year together.
She saw me at some of my worst and some of my best, so I knew that she could take the ride.
It was just the freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you wanted. We used to be very, very social.
We experienced a lot of things new together.
We were always up to do anything last minute.
Hey, I'm thinking about doing something over the weekend. Y'all interested? Yes, we were interested in it.
I would do most of the cooking and the looking after everyone. We used to do a lot of traveling.
At a drop, we could just pick up and say, yep, Friday after work.
We really enjoyed that.
I'm sure it feels for them like they're just on an island and away from everybody and isolated. But I do know that they gladly give that up for the betterment of Elijah.
And I'm actually grateful that we got to do a lot of that stuff early on, where now we don't have that ability to do.
It was a great life. I wanted 3 children. Tim wasn't sure he wanted any. We kind of decided on 1, possibly 2, and we'll just kind of see what God allows.
What I wanted out of a son was someone that's stronger, smarter, better at everything than I was, that ultimately would take care of me when I got old, or take care of his mother when she got old.
We had everything planned out, how we were going to discipline our children. We both had really good childhoods. Both of us grew up very traditionally, and we wanted to continue that.
She'd had all the testing done because of our ages.
And it was just so we could be informed.
That was a concern, right?
It would never have changed our decision to have Elijah. We had lost our first child, and I was high risk.
You want to take those precautions to have the best outcome. They came back and we were like, oh, awesome. No markers for anything of any concern.
My water broke at almost 2 months early, and we went just thinking he was going to be premature.
Me and Amber come from healthy families.
After 3 days of being in the hospital, Elijah was born. They took him away very quickly.
They're saying all these things about Elijah. I don't understand what's going on.
My doctor came back in and told me that he was hypotonic, and he may need a little help strengthening his muscles.
From there on out, it was never the same.
Tim was able to go and see him. I had some complications. I wasn't allowed to see him until about 9:30 that night. And in my heart, something in that moment knew something wasn't right. I couldn't hold him. They let us stay about not even a full 10 minutes, and then whisked us away. 10 days later, a pediatrician from the hospital came in.
They kind of went through what they found about him.
I was holding Elijah. She handed me 4 printed pages off of Google.
This is what we think your son has. We don't know anything about it.
I'm trying to read these papers that are not making sense. I don't know what palistrocilian is.
And we're like, oh, this has got to be a mistake. We were just kind of sitting there, kind of dumbfounded.
She said, I need you to know that your life is never going to be what you planned.
And they're just dumping this on to us.
No one in the entire hospital had ever heard of it.
This is something that I couldn't fix.
We didn't think anything was wrong with our child until that moment.
You're second guessing yourself of, was it something we did or didn't do?
Having to leave him in NICU that night because they make you go home. And we left in silence, came home. I went upstairs and just cried and cried.
The first 2 years of his life, we were in and out of hospitals, in and out of specialists.
He has palistrocilian mosaic syndrome, and then he has pages of secondary diagnoses. And there are things that are pretty common, like hypotonia, seizure disorders, low vision, low hearing. He still can't sit unassisted. There is no life expectancy.
None of them have, reached adulthood.
We are one of 50 cases in the US.
Nobody knows a lot of things, not even doctors.
There's only 500 cases worldwide.
Knowing that we'll have to support him,
It's one of those that you don't know that there is a problem until there is a problem. Elijah didn't sleep longer than 2 hours his first 2 years of life, no matter what you did.
When they learned about Elijah's condition, their response wasn't, why us? It was, how can we love him well? How can we be as faithful to God as he has been to us?
We didn't know how we were going to go forward.
we knew we were in it to the end.
We weren't going to have the answers of what tomorrow holds, so we needed to just take in what today held and try and soak up as much of Elijah as we could. We're never promised tomorrow, and we know that.
I've just come to accept that, there's things that I cannot control.
God is in control. It was never my intention to be a stay-at-home mom. After Elijah was born, I still thought that I was going to be able to go back to work.
Amber decided to be Elijah's main caregiver.
All of a sudden, we realized just how complex Elijah was.
I don't think most people realize it's very expensive. It requires lots of specialized equipment.
Tim took over as the only source of income, so his job became a top priority.
We were spending everything that I made. Amber had heard about Katie Beckett, which is basically secondary insurance for special needs children. The first submittal that she'd done, we were denied.
Being the primary caregiver, you feel like you're alone a lot.
Sometimes she has to hear bad news without me present.
Because Tim's working, he can't be at doctor's appointments and he's not at therapy appointments.
That's what her days are like.
Tim does what he knows how to do. He is the fixer, and Elijah can't be fixed.
I'm grateful for her because he gets the best care because of her.
When surgery comes around, every time they wheel your child off, I lose it.
It's always scary when you have to put your child under anesthesia.
The uncertainty of the next medical emergency, when that's going to be, what's going to happen, that weighs on them.
There's that little thing in the back of your mind. Are they going to come back okay? And we have had some complications with different surgeries.
Prayer is a huge part of how we get through this.
We have each other.
Your frustrations and your anger are always shown to the people that are closest to you.
Unfortunately, we are each other's sounding boards.
It does make the relationship tougher.
Our lives are based on our faith, so being isolated from our Christian community, it's very rough.
I want to see them be able to get back into church. That is something that means so much to them.
Because of Elijah's medical fragility, we can't pour our hearts out, and not having that sense of fellowship, it's hugely impactful. That's also where your marriage gets built.
Things aren't worth the risk because of him maybe getting sick. The odds of him having a seizure when we wake him up are really high. We can go a couple days without having a seizure, or we can have one every single day back to back. That makes it really tough to go and do anything other than be here.
I don't really leave this house other than to go to doctor's appointments. So my human interaction is very little. When Elijah's nurse is here, I'm able to get a 10-minute shower, and that is my downtime.
If that keeps him healthy, keeps us out of the hospital, then that's the decision that me and Amber make all the time.
They do it with such grace. They would never have it any other way.
I have already had one surgery from an injury. Now he is at 60 pounds.
He grows just like any other child, so he outgrows his wheelchair, his therapy equipment, his orthotics.
It is just getting harder and harder to care for him, but he's worth it.
It's just miraculous that they've been able to endure so much.
When Amber told me about this, I told her, no, we shouldn't do this.
We both felt the same way. This needs to go to someone who can't keep the lights on. And so I had said, well, I'm not going to accept, but let us pray about it. I'll get back to you. Then Shannon said, don't take a blessing away from somebody. That bites, because I say that to people a lot.
You're looking at two people who would inconvenience themselves before they would inconvenience somebody else.
We do not ask for help. We do not reach out, I'm sure, when we should.
They feel like they're undeserving.
When it comes to your child, you get weak. So I agreed, and I said, the only way that we will do this is if we can share our testimony. We really felt alone in this. This is a community that we did not know existed. There is hope, things we never thought we were strong enough to do or capable of doing. God has held our hand every step of the way.
As Christians, Tim and Amber's reaction to a diagnosis and unwavering advocacy ever since point people to Jesus.
Sometimes you gotta let people give you a blessing and take it, as opposed to analyzing why you have it or why it was given to you. For someone out of the goodness of their own heart to do this type of thing is...
It's overwhelming.
I couldn't imagine going through this alone.
Financially, things do get hard. We're looking to get a track system put in to be able to have Elijah throughout the house. He's just getting heavier, and it's getting very dangerous to lift him.
It's very important to donate because he's going to continue to grow. He's going to continue to need care throughout his life.
When you donate, you're not just giving money, you're giving encouragement, you're giving breathing room, you're helping lift a little of the financial weight that Tim carries alone so both of them can focus on what matters the most.
Tim talked about trying to figure out how to get a track system in here built himself. I don't know what that's going to be like. I don't know if DFAX is going to come after we zip line our kid through the house.
I can do it for cheaper than 40 grand.
Yeah, it's 41 grand for that. Of course, we're on our third denial with insurance on that.
It's very expensive to have a child with special needs. Not only do they need the things that regular children need, they have to have extra things that people may not even know about or consider. Anything that's attached with special needs, it automatically goes up in price.
A wheelchair for an elderly person is $200 to $500 max. Elijah's is 13 grand. His car seat, which was another 11 grand. How am I supposed to transport him? I know we're gonna be needing a van at some point.
It's ludicrous, the amount of money.
It is. It doesn't make sense. Trying to figure out how we're going to go about these next processes. And it's gonna be help from others that we're gonna need to lean on.
So it's important that they have the money to provide for him.